So, in this part we are going to talk about two important terms, that is called quantifier and negation. Now, what is a quantifier? Quantifier is usually a word that expresses quantity. Now, usual words in mathematics where we talk about quantities: for every, for all, there exists. Okay, these are usual words: for every, for all, there exists. These are usually called as quantifiers. Okay, then there are some words like some, many, at least one, infinite. These also express quantity. So, these are also called as quantifiers. So, usually when these words come in a statement, we call them as quantifiers. Okay. So, quantifiers are basically these words that usually express the existence or maybe the quantity. Yeah. Now, next we are going to talk about very important thing, what is called as negation. Now, this has a very high weightage, this negation. Now, what is meant by negation? Now, we know that the meaning of statement is, it is a sentence which is either true or false, but not both. What is meant by negation? Negation means when a statement is true, you have to give the corresponding false statement, and if the statement is false, you have to give the corresponding true statement. Okay. Now, usually negation is done by using the word not in the proper place, and the symbol for negation is like this. So, this is the symbol for negation. So, this is the symbol. Okay. Now, to explain this, let me take one simple example. Let me take a statement P, like let us say 5 is a prime number. 5 is a prime number. Now, we know that this statement is true. So, its truth value is t. We know 5 is a prime number. Now, if I want to write the negation of this, that means if I want to make this statement false, what I have to do is I have to negate this. So, the negation is denoted by this symbol. So, this is read as negation P. So, if you use the word not in the proper place, you can get the negation. 5 is a prime number. So, negation will be 5 is not a prime number. So, this will be the negation. So, now 5 is a prime number is true. Suppose you say 5 is not a prime number, then it will become false. So, basically negation is changing the truth value of the sentence. Okay. Now, let us go for another example. Let us say, now in this case, let us say if I talk about negation P, there may be alternate ways to negate this. So, you can also say 5 is a prime number. You can also say it is false that. So, sometimes you can negate using the word it is false that. So, 5 is a prime number. It is false that 5 is a prime number. So, this also can be the correct negation of this, and 5 is a prime number is true. If you say it is false that 5 is a prime number, then the statement will become false. Okay. Now, in some cases there can be more complicated ways of negating the statement. In that we will go to some examples. So, in that cases you have to read the options and tick the correct option. Okay. Now, before going to that, let us go to another example. Let us say if I take P as, let us say 6 square is equal to 36. Now, we know this is true. Now, how to negate it? 6 square is equal to 36. So, if you use the word not, you can say 6 square is not equal to 36, or in this case, since we have a symbol for not equal to, we can write the negation like this. So, negation P is 6 square is not equal to 36. So, if you say like this, then what will happen is the truth value will become f now. So, 6 square is not equal to 36, it will become, truth value will become false. So, therefore, this is meant by negation. And the very important part in negation is you should not make alternate statements. So, that is very important when you do the negation. Okay. So, now let us go to some other example. Let us say P. I can go to the example like sun is a star. Then negation P will be sun is not a star. And suppose if the word not is there, now let us say we will go for that. If you have sun is not a star, then negation can be got by removing the word not. So, sun is not a star. So, negation P will be sun is a star. Now, we know sun is not a star is false. When you negate, it becomes sun is a star, it will become true. Yes. So, this is how you negate the statement. Now, we can go for some complicated cases of negation. So, when you negate the statement, you have to be very careful sometimes. Now, usually negation you have to be very careful when there is a quantifier. Now, let me give one example for this. Okay. Now, let me take a sentence statement P as, let us say, all integers are odd. Okay. All integers are odd. Okay. Now, the word all is actually a quantifier, all. Now, when you negate, now what happens is, now anybody will tend to write all integers are odd, all integers are not odd. Now, if you say like this, this is a wrong negation. This is a wrong negation. Let me go to the explanation of that. Now, if you now always remember, the negation of all is not all, very important. So, therefore, the correct way of negating this is all integers are odd, not all integers are odd. Not all integers are odd. Now, this is the correct negation. Now, I said when we do the negation, we should not give an alternate statement. All integers are odd, all integers are not odd. We are actually making an alternate statement here. Okay. Now, to understand this, let me go to another example. Okay. Let me call statement Q as, I think this would be better to understand, all students failed, or we will go for all students passed. Yeah. Now, in a class, let us say the statement is all students passed. Okay. Now, let me try to do the negation. Suppose anybody says all students did not pass, all students did not pass. This is wrong. If anybody says all students failed, this is also wrong. Yeah. But if anybody says not all students passed, if anybody says not all students passed, then this will be the correct negation. Okay. Now, let us try to understand this. All students passed. Let us say there are 5 students in the class, S1, S2, S3, S4, S5. There are 5 students in the class. Let us say my statement is all students passed. That means all the 5 students S1 to S5 have passed. That is this statement. Now, I want to make this statement false. Now, what will happen is all students passed. If I want to make this statement false, even if one student is failed, then what will happen is this statement will become false. Let us say S3 has failed. Let us say S3 has failed. Now, immediately this statement will become false, because I said all students have passed. All students have passed means S1, S2, S3, S4, S5 all have passed. Okay. Now, what is false? Even if one student fails, then this statement becomes false. That is why to make this statement false, all students pass, there is no need that all students should fail. Even if one student fails, it is enough to make this statement wrong or false. Therefore, the correct negation of all students passed is not all students passed. So, that will be the correct negation, not all students failed or all students did not pass, that is not the correct negation. Okay. Now, you can also say like this, this is there was at least one student, there was at least one student who did not pass. This is also correct. This is correct. So, all student passed means all have passed. What is false? If there was at least one student who did not pass, then again this will become false. Therefore, this is also the correct way of negating. So, therefore, when we do the negation, we have to be very careful about this, especially when there is a quantifier like all. Okay. Now, there can be something like this. Okay. Now, let us say another statement, I will give P. Okay. Instead of all, even if the word every is used, okay, every let us say every even number is divisible by 2. Now, when you negate, so you have to say, you should not say every even number is not divisible by 2, that is not the correct way. Every even number is divisible by 2, negation will be not every number is divisible by 2. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. Then there can be a word like there exists. Let us say there is another quantifier. Okay. Let us say there exists a integer. There exists an integer which is equal to its square. Another one of the very famous quantifier that comes is there exists. In this case, the negation is very easy. The meaning of there exists is there exists means there is. The negation of there exists is you can say there does not exist. So, negation P, there you can say there does not exist. Then other things are same. So, there exists an integer which is equal to its square, the negation will be there does not exist an integer which is equal to its square. So, therefore, this will be the correct negation. Okay. So, mainly whenever a quantifier comes, we have to be very careful with the negation, especially when quantifier like all come. So, here you have to be very careful. Yes.